Buenos dias and welcome back to another video, everybody. Hope you are all staying safe out there in these crazy times. Let's take our minds off of this for a little bit and talk a little bit about macro photography. Much like in my last video when I shot those toy soldiers and did some focus stacking, today I'm not going to talk so much about the editing of macro photography as I am going to talk about the actual process of taking these images and having fun with some flowers and some water droplets, and we're just going to have a good time here. So let's get started. So what I did was go in my backyard and find something that I wanted to use as my foreground element, and I found a little branch or a twig off a flowering bush and clipped it off of there. And then I knew I had a flowering vine in my backyard. Honestly, if you know the name of these flowers, please comment down below, because I do not. I'm a little embarrassed that I don't know, but you can educate me. Anyways, I thought it would be a nice flower to use as a background element. And next, I just looked for some things around my studio and in my house that I could utilize. And here you see I have a mic stand with some green tape that is connected to a bamboo chopstick that is connected to a blue clip. And there you see it's connected to the branch that I'm using as my foreground element and my subject, and I'm going to spray water on that. Next, I'm using a Lamco little flexible tripod, and to that tripod I affixed that flower. And next I'm using a really inexpensive focus light that I will be using for the background element. And you can use lights like this. They're linked down below. I think these cost me like $15.95 for a 2-pack. They're really inexpensive but useful for this type of project. But honestly, you could use a flashlight or anything that you can prop up and shine light on your background. I'm also utilizing and recycling a black poster board that I've utilized in my studio a multitude of times for different projects. Just want a nice black background if needed, if there's any spillover on the foreground element to the flower. So that's set there just in case. Probably won't need it, but it's there in place. So the camera I'm using today is the Canon M50. I'm utilizing an EF to M mount adapter. Attached to that is a 13mm extension tube, and attached to that is my lens, which is a 10 to 18 EF mount lens, which is a macro lens and a zoom lens by nature. You want to know more information about any of these items, they'll be listed down below in the description. I'm going to be shooting at 18mm on this lens, which means that with this APS-C sensor on the Canon M50, there's going to be a 1.6 times crop factor, which turns this 18mm lens to approximately about a 28mm lens. That's okay. I'm going to take advantage of that because I am trying to get as close to the subject as I can. That's macro photography, and that is going to serve me nicely here today. So what I've done is I've placed the subject about ½ an inch from the flower or the background. And by the way, I am in manual focus here. You do not want to be in auto. You want to be able to get the crispiest picture that you can, and you want to be able to control that focus. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push in here until it gets into pretty good focus, and that's pretty nice right there. So I'm zooming in and finding my subject, and then what you'll notice as you're doing your micro adjustments, there's going to be a lot of jittering and movement. That's because you're so zoomed in that every movement is that much more magnified. But once you get in there and get it sharp, you're going to be super happy with the image. And then what we want to do is back out of that shot, and we want to go ahead and shoot the image. So I'm not going to use my shutter, nor am I going to use a cable release shutter. I'm going to use the LCD's touch enabled feature, and it's really sensitive, and I feel like it does a really good job with really minimum shake, if none at all. Alright, so there's my first test shot. So now I noticed that my light is now behind my lens here because as I creeped up and pushed in and got those micro adjustments, I went past the light and it's casting a shadow on my subject. So what I want to do is move this forward a little bit and kind of turn this arm so I'm getting a little bit more light on the subject. even though I made all of those adjustments, I'm gonna move the light out of the way because we don't want water on the light, and we certainly don't want water on the camera since this one is not weatherproof. However, if you had a camera that is weather sealed, go for it. But I'm gonna go ahead and spray and spray and spray, and we want that mist, and we want to spray as much as possible. I've got the towel at the ready. I've got a glass table, so I'm not that concerned. I'll be able to clean up really quick. So that's probably something to consider as you're doing this. But I definitely want to continue to spray, spray, spray. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. Let's go ahead and bring the light back onto our subject here. Honestly, I think we have some pretty cool water droplets on the flower itself, so I'm gonna actually remove the foreground element, the subject, and I'm gonna punch in to the flower and try to take an image there. All right, that was fun. I actually focus stacked that one and moved from left to right, mostly around the center of the flower, and just blended those images. All right, let's get back to what we said we were gonna do. I think I found a tiny little droplet. Hopefully I don't mess this up. Looks like I am. Bull in a china shop here. Sure did. What I'm really trying to do is get a water droplet to actually stick to one of the stems and see how close I can actually get. So I think I have one on there, have a couple, and let's see how close I can get. Now you can see the 3 little water droplets that I'm talking about, and they look pretty in focus, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make some micro adjustments here. So what I'm seeing on the back of the LCD screen is part of the flower, but I'm actually seeing a reflection of the light that I have shining on here. So that's pretty cool. All right, let's get ready to take this image. I don't want to lose these 3 water droplets. They're in a perfect spot. I don't think I could have done this any better. All right, here goes nothing. How fun is that, you guys? Very cool. It's done. It worked. All right, that's gonna do it. I was successfully able to shoot some water drop photography, some macro photography. I think it turned out pretty cool with very minimal things that I found from around the house. You can substitute any of the items that I may have used for others, but the idea here is to get some close-up photography. You may not even have a macro lens, and that is okay. Try to get some of these extension tubes. Again, I'll link these down below. They cost anywhere between $12 and $35. They're pretty cheap, far less expensive than actually buying a macro lens, so that is the way to go, and I suggest you try this sometime. It's a lot of fun. All right, I hope you had as much fun as I did today. Stay safe out there. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Give this video a like if you liked any part of it. It helps me more than you know. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought, and ring that bell to remind you of new videos when they come out. I love you guys. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.